From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 16th, 2016. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced yesterday that he would be the first Israeli Prime Minister to visit the Republic of Fiji, part of a broader campaign to boost Israel's standing in the international community. Netanyahu made the comments during his video address to American Jewish leaders yesterday at the Jewish Federation of North America's General Assembly in Washington.
Why am I going to Fiji? Because 15 countries, 15 islands that each one has a vote in the UN are coming to that meeting.
Netanyahu will be visiting several countries, including Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, both Muslim countries, in the next few weeks. He explained that he expects these diplomatic efforts to change the anti-Israel bias at the United Nations.
I'm telling you that it will be no more than a decade, and possibly a lot sooner, that the automatic majorities against Israel in the UN will collapse, and Israel may actually find a fair hearing there.
In his video address, Netanyahu also responded to concerns from the American Jewish community over the government's failure to implement an egalitarian prayer section at the Western Wall, a compromise that was agreed upon at the beginning of the year but has yet to be implemented. Netanyahu asked for patience in this regard, saying that the situation was, quote, complicated.
That sometimes you need quiet diplomacy. A lot of times you need quiet diplomacy between Jews and Arabs. This is one instance where I think we need quiet diplomacy between Jews and Jews. That's a lot more likely to get the result we all seek.
The GA concluded in Washington yesterday. Look for our coverage on JBS soon. Israel's Knesset today held a preliminary vote on legalizing unauthorized outposts in the West Bank, like the outpost of Amona. As we have been reporting to you, Israel's High Court ruled earlier this week that Amona was built on private Palestinian land and would be evacuated and demolished next month. The Israeli government has asked for that ruling to be deferred, and today, in another effort to stop the demolition, a bill to legalize some outposts, including Amona, passed in its first Knesset reading. A bill has to pass 3 readings in the Israeli parliament in order to become law. Turkey has named its new ambassador to Israel. As we reported to you yesterday, Israel appointed its new envoy to the country, Eitan Naeh, in what was seen as the final step in reconciliation between the two nations since the Mavi Marmara incident of 2010, when a Turkish ship tried to breach Israel's blockade of Gaza. And when IDF commandos boarded the ship to stop it, they were attacked by several armed activists on board. In the clashes that ensued, 10 Turkish citizens were killed and several IDF soldiers were injured. A reconciliation agreement was signed between Israel and Turkey in June of this year. Today, the state-run Anadolu agency said that Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan officially named Kemal Okem as Turkey's new ambassador to Israel. A bipartisan bill against the BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement, which seeks to delegitimize the state of Israel, was introduced in the House of Representatives on Monday. Republican Representative Peter Roskam of Illinois and Democrat Juan Vargas of California introduced the bill. It states that criminal penalties for boycotting Israel would be extended to companies that are, quote, politically motivated and are intended to penalize or otherwise limit commercial relations specifically with Israel or persons doing business in Israel or in Israeli-controlled territories, referring there to the settlements of the West Bank. The bill defines politically motivated as, quote, actions to impede or constrain commerce with Israel that are intended to coerce political action or impose policy positions on Israel. Yeshiva University will have a new president next year. The school's Board of Trustees announced its official selection of Rabbi Ari Berman today. Berman is a YU graduate and was the rabbi at the Jewish Center on New York's Upper West Side until he made Aliyah to Israel, where he currently leads the Heichal Shlomo Jewish Heritage Center in Jerusalem. Berman will replace current YU President Richard Joel in July of next year. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, November the 16th. At 7 o'clock, a discussion on Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. At 8, Rabbi Shai Held of Machon Hadar talks about the Jewish implications of modern technology through the writings of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel and Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik from A Morning of Learning by Machon Hadar and Schechter Westchester at the Solomon Schechter Upper School of Hartsdale, New York. At 9, Mark Golub speaks with Amir Shlomian about his unique school for Jewish and Arab children on L'chaim. And at 10, the filmmakers of The Ruins of Lifta sit with Judy Myers on New Jewish Cinema. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, Mark Golub speaks with co-chair of Jews Choose Trump, Lori Lowenthal Marcus, who weighs in on Donald Trump's naming of Stephen Bannon as his chief White House strategist. That's on tonight's In the News. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 16th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.